I have 4 sketchbooks available, each with a different theme. This is the first one called the Nearly Empty Coloring Book, and it is what it says. It is nearly empty. In the beginning, we have some support pages to kind of help you out, and a page to explain how to use this book in a classroom setting, the emotional values of color and shapes, expressive words, and then basic color vocabulary. And then the book is nearly empty, except on the bottom of each page is a different prompt for students. I actually suggest that you cut the binding of the book and make copies of this to place in a bin for students so that if they finish too early, they can pick something up from the bin and get to work and stay occupied. So the bottom of this page says, trace your hand and draw what might be inside if you were an awesome robot. Paste down half a face from a magazine above, choose an attractive model, finish the other half of the face as if they were an alien. Draw a container on this page and draw something unexpected on the back that would be inside the container. Hold the page up to the light to see an X-ray view of both. Design a piece of jewelry and use a symbol from your own cultural background in it. Draw a design you think could make a cool tattoo. Remember that tattoos are often symbols of important things to the person wearing it. So each page has a unique prompt and students could draw right on the page. The inspirational sketchbook is based on 100 art quotes to illustrate and educate students. So for the first quote, "Feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly?" by Frida Kahlo. So there's lots of space around the page for the students to illustrate and include the quote. And then on the back of each page gives you the quote again for students to write or read about the quote and then write what do they think that it means by it. Then we include a paragraph about Frida Kahlo, and then students can write about 5 interesting facts about the author or about the quote. You can pull from the paragraph that we've provided or allow students to use their electronic devices or computers to do additional research. Art completes what nature cannot bring to finish, Aristotle. Again, there's plenty of room around the quote for students to illustrate, and then we have the quote again on the next page on the back where students would write down their interpretation of it. So they would read it, try to understand it, and then write down their interpretation of it. We include a paragraph about Aristotle and his history, and then students can add 5 facts that they can either research or pull from the paragraph. We have plenty of art quotes in here, some that are funny, some that are serious. This gives an opportunity for some reading, interpretation, writing, and research with your students. The interactive sketchbook comes in a full color edition and an economy black and white based on your budget. So in this we give you a photograph and then the students go ahead and add on to it to turn it into something else visually interesting. Even on our cover page you can see we have a lollipop that was turned into a bird and a bottle opener that was turned into a dancer. So we have an introduction with some ideas for you to begin, and then they're as simple as a rubber duck in the center of the page, hamburger, and each page has a different object with a very white background. We actually suggest that you cut the binding of the book and then let students do drawings right on the pages that you make copies from. This book does come with copyrights. Our last sketchbook is based on classical poetry throughout history. The classically inspired sketchbook is one that I worked on with an English teacher to figure out what poems we thought were most important for students to know before they finish school. So these are all poems that are available in the public domain. You can see our table of contents here. And what we've done is put the poem on a page, put it in such a way that you could illustrate around the poem. After the poem, then there's a chance to analyze the poetry, to think about what's going on in the stanzas, to analyze those, and then to write about the specific details of the poem, like in a synopsis or something. Each poem is handled slightly different. And then there's a page to either sketch with part of the poem there, or it's been left blank so that students can do their illustration and include a stanza in handwriting. Then we have extended exploration for students write a synopsis of the poem. We give some information about the author, and then students can find 5 additional facts or pull 5 facts from the reading or from the writing that we have provided. So again, here we have The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. We have the poem written large so that it's easy for students to read, and then we analyze the poem We talk about allegory and how it's related to poetry, and then the poem is written. Because it's a short one, we've written out the whole poem much smaller, giving a lot of room for illustration. Again, after the poem, we do our synopsis and then some facts about Robert Frost, or researching 5 additional facts about the author that can be pulled from the writing that we've provided or from a computer lab where students can do more. So we have plenty of poetry included in this book. These are all in the public domain, so it's okay to make copies for all of your students.